Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Anshu coming back with today's tutorial. So let's have a recap. Starting with the front page of amid global tumult, rupee breaches 87 against dollar. Campaigning for Delhi Assembly election ends. Second one is covering Manipur violence. Apex court to wait for CFSL report on alleged Biren audio. Anti-conversion bill tabled in Rajasthan House by government. Here the spiritual journey of Naga Sadhu or Niranjana Akhara on their way to Triveni Sangam to holiday. Anti-conversion bill, the detail about here. The cause and effects of US withdrawal from WHO. Fourth one is the eliminating the elitism in mental health. The tutorials about the kind of job that needed for Viksit Bharat goal. Sixth, the tariff turmoil that is related to the both the editorials. 2 crore people take Amrit Snan on Vasant Panchami at Mahakumbh. Seventh one covering the how will government produce the required fuel ethanol. Eighth about the sports. Trisha Channel WPL disappoint and Praganan takes a home maiden master. The ninth one is just a state news. Telangana C categories committing the summit report. So let's start with the front page. I have already made a playlist of a January current affairs, so you can go and check out there. And also the February is ongoing, so I will make a playlist of February current affairs. So must go and visit there and check out if you like the video. There is a editorials added, the clips, important articles related to everything is added in a clear picture way. If anything that you want in a PDF way, I will just add, just comment me there. So let's start with the front page. So how the Indian unit slumps 47 paise on a first day of trading after the Trump's tariff on Canada, Mexico and China. Finance Ministry official hit the center in unfazed terms it uncertainty to deal with. So how the Indian rupee slumped 0.6% or 49 paise to breach 87 mark against dollar. So why the rupee is weakening and US dollar getting strength? Just hear about the testing news lows that there was a currently in previously there was 84.36 dollar, that how it is come at the 87.12 on the 3 Feb. So the chart basically shows here the rupees against US dollar. So the President Donald Trump imposed the higher tariffs on Canada. Already I have covered on yesterday news about the high tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China. And rupees, which has crossed 86 marks vis-a-vis dollar on January 10, closed at 87.11 after the slipping close to 87.3. So the top finance ministry signaled the government was unfazed by current trajectory, terming its global uncertainty to deal and stressing that India does not believe in us exchange of rate policy. So dollar index is high. What is happening over last couple of months is that the dollar is appreciating. Dollar index is pretty high against all the currencies. So it is just emerging markets, but even with the developed countries, today dollar index has picked up above 109. So how the India's exports become competitive? Let me just explaining you how the rupees depreciate and how it led to the effect on imports and export. So the how rupee appreciate and depreciate. If rupee appreciates, it has both positive and negative effects. If we taken in the term of the rupee, how the rupees appreciates and what is the effects on the export is like exports expensive, imports cheap. And who will get benefited? Industry with high engines, petroleum, petrol, anything. And if rupee depreciates, I have not added that chart how it affects, but I'm just writing here that export is cheaper. It just the vice versa, like exports cheap, import is expensive. If rupees is depreciating, imports expensive. Like IT textile, so basically it grows to the IT textile and automobiles, hotels. So how it, so the India never used the exchange rate policies to promote the export. So that is now not our policies. That's sustainable way to keep growing our competitiveness through the better quality, and uncertainty that moved to US to raise the tariff will trigger. So next one is the campaigning for the Delhi Assembly elections to the end. So the campaigning for the Delhi on 6 p.m. ended on Monday. Over 1.5 crore voters, 1.5 crore voters in 70 constituencies will seal the fate on candidate on Feb 5, and result will be out on February 8. So the here the BJP, a triangular battle between Aam Aadmi, BJP and Congress rallies and campaign by senior leaders. The aggressive campaign saw the AAP and BJP running to the election commission on alleged voter deletion in various constituencies made by AAP chief Arvind Kejriwal to ammonia in Yamuna river. So the BJP, another push to come back to the power after 20 years, saw a blitz in capital. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed 2 rallies before and 3 rallies after the announcement of polls. So the senior BJP leader addressed the rallies promising a push development to agenda. And AAP is also trying to retain the power for 4th term, asked the people to vote for continued electricity, receiving free electricity, and continue promising of 24/7 water, continuing to improve health, education and health cares. So now moving to the next. How the Manipur violence apex to the court for the CFSL report on alleged Biren audio. So the Supreme Court decided to wait the Central Forensic Science Laboratory on the veracity audio of recording establishing complicity of Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren for ethnicity violence in the state, which led to many deaths. So the Chief Justice Sanjeev Khanna and Justice Sanjay Kumar was formed by Solicitor General Tushar Mehta and had contended the petitioner of Kuki organization to trust to CFSL. So there was a report shows 93% chances that that was a voice that was Mr. Bhushan said that extensively used in court. So there is a whether the case what to refer to Manipur High Court. And the next one news is about the anti-conversion bill that tabled in Rajasthan House by government. So the first state to present the anti-conversion bill in Rajasthan. Here's what is the populations of religion in India. It's like Hindus 81.2%, Muslim 12.9%, Christians 2.4%, Sikh 1.9% and Buddhists 0.7%. So there are different religions that residing in the India, and if someone wants to convert its religion, then it's okay. But somehow if anyone forced their religion on the basis of their just the forced conversion and anything else related to the conversion of, so there will be the fine of 50,000 and imprisonment for 10 years, and the opposition draft for the bill in November 2024. So there is a Monday introduced a bill to prevent a religious conversion carried out by force, fraud and inducement in state assembly. So the provision of unlawful conservation of religion bill 2025, imprisonment up to 10 years and 50,000 for various. So the state cabinet had approved the draft of bill in 24 in observation that would help to stop the increasing stances of love jihad in certain areas. So love jihad caste have a summoned the seriousness causes a deal a concern of society at large. So marrying to the refers to the right wing affiliates refer to the Muslim men marrying Hindu women to attempt to convert them to Islam. So the medical and health minister Gajendra Singh introduced the bill under the which offenses the cognizable and non-payable and tribal code, mispresentation, force, undue influence, coercion, misinterpretations by any marriages that has been made on offense that whose desire to convert religions shall have declaration to prescribe at least 60 days in advance to district magistrate. So just here, just remember this state. Questions can be asked. So moving to the next. What are the cause and effects of the US? So what are the cause and effects of US withdrawal from WHO? So the signing from the first batch of the exercises and executive orders violating the January 25, Donald Trump announced the US to withdrawal of WHO from being biased to China and mishandling COVID-19 pandemic. So Trump had chosen to withdraw from WHO and he took steps to leave the organization in 2020 for the same reason. Close to 45% American agreed with Trump assessment to back in 20. According to the Global Attitude Survey by the Pew Research, they shared the people with similar options in UK was 10 points lower, 34%. And even 31% and 30% Canada and Germany. So 24 survey by Pew closed that 40% of US citizens said country was benefiting not at all, not too much. Only 80% of Democrats, close to 80% Democrats are people said that US benefits from WHO only by 38% Republican and Republican leading the figure decline. So here the charts shows, the chart 1 shows here, so already the Pew Research, chart 2 shows the respondent views on whether the US gain, chart 1 and chart 2, and chart 3 here the figure shows a decline even in the further if only conservative Republicans were considered, and chart 5 shows how the funds from US are being utilized by WHO, close to 26%. Chapter 4 shows here the 50% WHO total funding since least 2016 and when the COVID-19 was at peak went back again to the usual level. So WHO other contributors in latest year include the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is 12.9%. And its Gavi Alliance is 9.1%. European Mission EU is 8.06%. And the share of World Bank 5.34%. Chart 5 shows how funds of US are being utilized. Close to 26% of funds were used to improve the contribution and exceed the 5%. 21% respond to rapidly. And 20% of polio eradication and close to 10%. The President order also called for US personnel working for the WHO collaborations to implement the WHO objective and engage in collaborative research. Here the polio eradication 20%, 7.6 for rapidly detected countries other health emergency 5.4%. So already discussed all the charts. Moving to the next, about the elitism in mental health. So the Ministry of Labour and Employment year-end review report for 24 stated that all state and union territories are expected to complete the process of harmonization and pre-publication of draft rules for new labour code 31st March 25. So the incorporation provision create a liability-based framework ensuring the mental health of workers. First time the mental health was acknowledged as an impactful driver. The survey notes here that 10.6% adults in India suffered from mental disorders, with treatment gap ranging is 70% to 90%, depending on the specific conditions. National Health Survey NHS 1516. So the WHO fact sheet of mental health risk outlined the several risks: workloads, rapid workplace, long unsocial and flexible hours, unsafe poor physical working condition, job insecurity, inadequate pay, conflicting homework demands. So these are the risks primarily impact blue collar workers due to their demanding job, unsafe work environment, and lack of adequate legislative and policy protection. So here the white collar, there is a significant disparity between blue collar and white collar jobs employees concerning with legislative policy framework. So basically the blue collar jobs that are mining workers, laborers, and ground workers, and the white collar jobs that are basically software developers and that job that require mentally demanding. So here the first challenge in occupation, health and working conditions. The concepts of occupation safety is limited to basically in the course of employment. The implicity excludes the mental well-being and safety norms and preventive the phrase as far, creating the mandates for employer to provide a working. First is the occupational safety. Second, as per definition, employment injury section code on the section 74, personal injuries caused by accident or any occupational disease arising in the cause of employment. Third is scheduled now here, the illness disease arising out of mental strain. That's mental strain, which a labor courts have opportunity to create a tripartite relationship between employer and blue collar workers. And the fourth is the multiple statement made recently by the reputed CEO regarding 70 to 90 hour work weeks of emphasizing quantity over quality and well-being. Government must take a step for gauging the environment for blue collar workers. So the fifth, creating awareness in government initiatives like Telemanas, the mental health consultations, Telemanas, statutorily employed as a imposed on employers. Lastly, the blue collar workers also need acknowledged as a stakeholder in the mental health discourse, and before this become a loss of opportunity. Basically the second one is about, second is the health, I forgot to mention here, it's a health assisted lifestyle. Second is about the definition of any personal any social security, personal injury or accident occupational disease arising, I've already mentioned. So then moving to the next article, Senatorial is a kind of job needed for a Viksit Bharat goal. So the 2024 budget has introduced the employment linked incentives. Employment linked, the Prime Minister internship scheme saw a significant traction is 6.21 lakh application for 1.27 lakh opportunities. So the outcomes of REST 4 Beyond's draft a cabinet note on ELI and meeting by DPIT with Ministry of Labour and CI remains to be seen. But there must be a more deliberation on a kind of job we wish to create for Viksit Bharat. So the impact of climate change is first is the climate resilience. India was the seventh climate resilience India was the seventh most affected country by climate change in 2019, have suffered an income loss of $159 billion in 2021. Here already mentioned, according to the RBI, face adaptation costs nearly 1 trillion by 2030. So to meet the net zero target by 2070, government must create an intensive jobs which are climate resilient and by maximizing all the co-benefit IPC. So the four states subsidized e-rickshaw in about 6 lakh villages to create about 2 million jobs, or there is a new ways to enable the private investment. So the gap of 82 plans set up versus the 5,000 set for fiscal year 23-24 in 18. On AI resilience, second is artificial resilience with 50% plus automation potential scenarios that 50% automation in India can happen in next 10 years. So there is comprise a 70% of the services export of economic survey 2021. So AI writing, 25% Google code layoffs due to the chatbots even in India. New job will also need human creativity, with which writer termed as AI resilience. Deficient of millions of healthcare professionals, National Rural Livelihood Mission to facilitate the products and crafts, knowledges and artisans in rural India. So the being aspiration centric is third being aspiration centric, the growing engagement with a startup culture to deeper insecurities from poor foundational education to resource deprived upbringing to crack the entrance exam. Aspiration shaped by socio-economic background, interaction and Samaj Sarkar and Bazaar. The slow growth of non-farm job warrants. So the greater use of tech, social media, rebranding the ruler also help to off-farm jobs, and 57% imports dependence on a edible oil back to the pre-WTO levels. So 40% of edible oil imports boosting retail in vogue. So while tax may be temporarily boost the urban consumer demand, so amidst growing household indebtedness and suboptimal private investment trends, center can demonstrate a greater aspirations which toward the shared vision. So was the tariff turmoil rising here? The globally introduced punishing tariff threats with tariff tariff trade partner of Canada, Mexico, and China, and South Korea fallout on supply. Like Canadian energy products spared only a 10% tax will be applied. White House further announced in line with the 10% tax on good from China. Wrongful practices. So basically, Trump has just triggering the very high tariff taxes on the Canada, Mexico, and China. So the Mexico has already given the already agreed for the taxes, and Canada is also. So while the tariff traditionally applied sparingly most in the trade imbalances, so here the artificial price barrier imposed by the country affect the trading partners. So official reasons the national emergency resulting from the extraordinary threat poses. But the Mr. Trump administration prerogative that it enjoys a crackdown on US ridiculous open borders, most would have imagined that process would entail incentivize the law enforcement rather than certainly have deleterious effect. So here the information, just a small informative news about the Amrit Snan on Basant Panchami and Mahakumbh at 4 p.m. Devotees are taking ritual dip at Sangam, Ganga Yamuna, the mythical of confluence of Ganga Yamuna, Saraswati. Here, after stampede broke out, the Maunya Amavasya on January 29, state government had mounted a safety measures. And here's the 3:30 p.m. Lucknow official resident. Everything is going very smooth. Moving to the next article is how will the government produce required fuel ethanol? So the Union Minister Nitin Gadkari have India will achieve target of 20% ethanol blending petroleum in next 2 months, at least a year ahead what was originally planned. So where will come from? So the 1100 crore sorry I'm just 1100 crore. The fuel ethanol will come from sugar and high-grade Mosales Food Corporation, broken rice and maize, and Indian ethanol distillery capacity has around 1600 crore liter, driven by the range of stable lucrative market. Sugar is expected to provide some 400 crore liters ethanol a year, according to Deepak Vilan, Director General of Indian Sugar Bioenergy. Government recently decided to reduce the price of FCI rice to distillery from 28 to 22.5 kg, and 110 crore liters ethanol will produce from FCI rice. India was the producer of maize until 2020, and how maize playing role? Its production is just enough at traditional needs such as for poultry sector, livestock, quality masses of ethanol productions, and there is 100 crore worth maize imported, while the imports were approximately 33 million. Ministry of Commerce figure shows that total 188 million worth maize was imported. The states such as Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, 42 million tons, of which million can go toward the 350 director NICR. Traditional maize uses ethanol, and which can use as a poultry, saving 5,000 crore saving on imports. So the government sugar and high quality molasses of ethanol production maize started ramping in April 2024. So the sports news about sports news. Praggnanandhaa takes the home maiden master title, and Trisha channels WPA disappointment guide India to title. It's the under 19 team Trisha that won from the South Africa team, and it's a Praggnanandhaa it was the world champion Gukesh in the tens. After the both suffered loss in final round, tied to 8.5. This held at the Netherlands. So finally, this is the last slide. I've already covered. One slide is the state news about Telangana SC categorization summit here. The total caste-wise populations here. The what is OC 15.79 including 2.48 is Muslims. 46.25 where BC is 1649 other than Muslims. 10.8% Muslim BC categories. Scheduled caste 61.81 lakh. 10.45 337.05 scheduled tribes. So just caste survey here. So basically, just last to the slide, just let's have a summary of today's editorial, and ending the today's editorial with this. So the amid global tumult, rupees breaches 87 against dollar. Campaigning for Delhi Assembly election ends. Manipur violence apex the court, and anti-conversion bill table in Rajasthan Assembly government. Fourth one is about the cause and effect of US withdrawal from WHO. Fifth editorial is about eliminating the elitism in mental health. Sixth one, the kind of job needs for Viksit Bharat goal. Seventh one is about a tariff turmoil and Basant Panchami Amrit Snan. Eighth is about the how will the government produce the required fuel ethanol. Ninth one is the sports news, and 10th one is about the state caste survey of Telangana. So finally covering all the today's important editorials and articles, and just a GK fact news also I've also already added. So I'm just ending the today's editorial. So we'll meet tomorrow with new editorial. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe and see the contents. Maybe you motivate it, inspire us, and just let's grow together by learning. So thank you. Thank you and good night.